Flow Racing presents the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get boiling, and drivers, start your engine!
On the weekend, fast as I can, and I'm on at the finish line. You can meet me there, 'cause I'm always on the run. Well, we don't go home till the job gets done. Till the job gets done.
In the starting lineup,
Flow Racing.
we are excited to be here today. I am Bob Dillner. We are live on Flow Racing. Good morning to you. We didn't expect to be racing here today at New River All-American Speedway because Mother Nature last night was not all too kind to us. Lightning proximity alerts, and then a lot of rain, heavy rain, coming down here in this area of North Carolina, about 16 miles or so from the coast of North Carolina. And that's why we are racing today at 9 a.m. And then we will go over to Carteret County Speedway later on this evening. 2 races, 2 tracks, 1 day for the Smart Modified Tour. Andy Marquis is with me up here in the booth. Last night was something else, but the Smart Modified Tour, its competitors decided to get this thing cooking with a doubleheader here today, and we're ready to get things cooking with pre-race ceremonies.
Race fans, please rise and remove your hats for the invocation and the national anthem. Lord, we ask that you place a hedge of protection on these racers, not just as they race here today, but at Carteret County Speedway tonight. We pray for the safety of the fans and the crew members as well as for our first responders at home and our military at home and abroad. For our racers, we say, Lord, I pray as I race today, keep me safe along the way. Not only me, but the others too, as they perform the jobs they do. I know, God, that in a race, I, the driver, must set the pace. But in this race of life, I pray, help me, Lord, along the way. Although I know I am a sinner, help me to believe that with God, you're always a winner. Amen. Here now is the national anthem as performed by Chris Stapleton.
Oh, say, can you see? By the dawn's early light, for so proudly we hailed at the twilight's gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular
Andy, it's going to be a great day. We thank you on behalf of everybody from the Smart Modified Tour to thank the staff here at New River All-American Speedway, Anthony and Tanya Goodyear as well, for inviting us back here for the first time in 24 years.
Absolutely, it's an exciting day and a historic day. I know we've done this on dirt, but I don't think I've ever seen this on asphalt. Drivers going to attempt. I mean, I've seen drivers do 2 races in one night, but not an entire series like this.
Exactly, and there's been a lot of discussion about this throughout the evening and the early morning hours. There have been 2 modified races on a single day, 2 late model races, sprint cars, modifieds in the Northeast, even late models, of course. But 1 series on pavement, 2 tracks, 1 day is just, with 2 races, is incredible for sure. So we're looking forward to this here today. We did find out, we went back to the record books, it looked like back in 1993 on dirt, as you mentioned, World of Outlaws competed with 2 races, 2 tracks, 1 day, the Moody Mile of New York and then Weedsport, New York. So that's the last time, according to what we have seen with our research, that has actually happened. Now, it may have happened at some other time, but we'll definitely be talking about that here today. So it's time for the command to start engines today for the Pace-O-Matic 99 at New River All-American Speedway. And crowd, we want to all do this together. So on the count of 3, we're going to do drivers, start your engines. 1, 2, 3. Drivers, start your engines.
Talking about a doubleheader, I cannot think of 2 more unique tracks to do this at. I mean, this track got some banking, old abrasive surface, Carteret, completely flat with a little bit less banking. They say about 8 degrees. It's closer to 2 degrees on the bottom of the track there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. This one, Ryan Newman was talking with me yesterday, and I said, what does this track remind you of? You've never been here before. He said, honestly, Bob, it reminds me of a smaller Rockingham, because this front stretch is kind of like a tri-oval. Some people say this racetrack almost has 5 corners because of the curving nature of the front stretch here. So it makes it a unique racetrack. And then you go down the road 34 miles to Carteret County Speedway later on tonight, and that track is weird as well, but weird in a good way, because another great facility with a very flat racetrack, as you mentioned, that walkway that goes over turns 3 and 4, just different characteristics for these drivers here to tackle today.
A lot of the drivers compare this to Myrtle Beach, except Chad McCumbee and the Cars Tour, some of those guys there then said that this track is more abrasive than Myrtle Beach was when it closed in 2020.
Yeah, it's going to be a tire conservation race for a good portion of this race. 99 laps will be the distance here today as the drivers and teams pull off on the front stretch. Let's take a look at the Smart Modified Tour point standings coming into this one. A pretty considerable lead right now for Carson Lofton, that 16-year-old kid, over the 18-year-old Luke Baldwin. But one mistake by Carson, and he had his first mistake in the most recent race on July 4th weekend. Another mistake could really bring up the rest of this field. Baldwin, Danny Bone, the veteran, knocking on the door for a victory. Burt Myers, the defending series champion in that number 1. And Ryan Newman, only 4 winners so far this year because of Carson Lofton's dominance in the victory lane circle at the end of this race. Coulter, Jimmy Blewett still lurking back there. One little mistake by some of these competitors, and this can be a whole different ball game. Jason Myers back there in 9th, and Anthony Bello, one of the top rookies in the series this year, rounding out the top 10. Just a couple of laps before we go green here today at New River All-American Speedway. This is honestly my first time here, even through my days with Speed 51 and all my time in motorsports. I've never been to this racetrack, and I am just amazed at how beautiful this facility is here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Racing surface is beautiful, grass is well maintained, walls painted, amenities for the fans. Thank you to the Goodyear family for all they do in bringing the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic to this racetrack this year. And thank you to you too, Andy.
Tell you what, this feels like a reunion of sorts with Race 22 Speed 51 crowd. I see Corey Latham out down there. taking photos. Only person missing is Langley.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably out at Franklin County.
He's probably busy tonight at Franklin County. My brother is here, Matthew Dillner for Flow Racing, and we're excited to have everybody here. Oh, by the way, Elgin Trailer is here too. There you go, Elgin Trailer on camera for Flow Racing here today. Matt Smith, the producer of this broadcast. My son Luke Dillner with me in the booth, trying to give me some stats throughout the coverage here today. We hope you enjoy the coverage. Right now, get on social. Make sure you tag Flow Sports, Flow Racing, and let people know that you're watching an early morning race, because people wake up and they don't expect racing at this stage of the game. So make sure you get on social, Twitter, you name it. Tag me at Bob Dillner with 2 L's, and let's talk about what we love. Short track racing, and of course the specific realm of modified racing, because Andy, I know you're a lover of modifieds, but you grew up in late model stock car territory. What do you think about these wild machines?
These are the baddest cars you'll ever see on asphalt. I mean, yeah, as much of a late model stock guy as I am, whenever I go to Langley Speedway for the modified tour, always a great show with these guys, especially here. There's going to be a lot of side-by-side racing. I think this is going to be one of the best races at a Smart Tour. Best race I ever seen in person was in 2021 when the Smart Tour ran at Franklin County. Wild race, always wild there at that track, but that was an exceptional race. I think we're going to see the same thing here today and then tonight at Carteret County.
And this starts a stretch of an impressive run of races for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. 7 races in the next 9 weeks. It's going to be packed with action for modified racing in the South.
Pace laps continuing here at New River All-American Speedway as we are closing in on the start of racing. We've got 3 events coming up, of course, the Smart Modified Tour, but after this, the Champ Carts will be in action along with the Carolina Crate Modified Series.
Next lap will be the wave lap. Not this lap, the next lap. They'll start forming up after we cross the start next lap. Double them up, spotter. Double them up. Slow down the big speed.
That is Jack Baldwin making his first start with the Smart Modified Tour and a Tour Type Modified. Excited to see what he does here today. But folks, we have 90 trackside parking spots here at New River All-American Speedway. It's early, but a bunch of them still came out here today. And we have some people in the grandstands, even though they're just getting their coffee this morning. So we want you all who are here today at this racetrack to stand up. Right now, this is our chance to salute you, the great racing fans of America. JB Cole in the flag stand. He's going to do this 2 times today for the Smart Modified Tour. History being made. Stage number 1 right here at New River All-American Speedway with the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. A lot of unique stories in today's starting lineup. Of course, we have the series regulars, but we have some, sort of newcomers, especially here to the Smart Modified Tour world. And one of those starting near the rear of the field today. It's Karsten DeJohn Tomaso. And he is a 2-time winner already at Wall Stadium, New Jersey, in a part-time competition this year, including that Garden State Classic. I remember back in the day, Gil Hearn and Tony Siscone and Jamie Tomeno and John Blewett Jr., just so many great drivers back in the day competing at Wall Stadium, New Jersey for that Garden State Classic. Well, Karsten won that race, and he's starting near the rear of the field today in that Amerifast 24X. He is an employee at Junior Motorsports as well, so he's been pretty busy. He lives down in North Carolina. He's from New Jersey, originally from Jackson, and today running the Pace-O-Matic 99 here at New River. Awaiting word. I believe we might be 1 to go until we go green. 99 laps. No, yellow flag is still out. It's 99 laps of competition today. There will be the end of the Bell Helmet stage number 1 at the conclusion of lap number 30. You can pit anytime you want during this race. It is controlled cautions. Everybody comes down pit road You don't lose your position to the cars that come on pit road, but you do lose it if other drivers stay out at that time. One tire at the disposal of all of these teams on pit road. They get to take that tire whenever they want, and there's all sorts of strategy talk here today. Will they take it at the bell helmet stage number 1 conclusion? Will they take it a little bit later on? Tires, very important with these modifieds, especially with those 15-inch rubbers right there on the right side of the cars.
I think they're all going to want to take them at the end. The driver's going to want to take them at that first stage because the fuel good's already going to be off those tires. But the crew chief's probably going to want to take them at that final stage.
1 to go until we go green. It's a historic day for pavement racing in America. For the first time in Smart Modified Tour history, there's 2 races at 2 tracks in a single day, and it all starts now. Danny Bone in that red and black number 24 with AmeriFast on the side will lead the field to the green flag. Ryan Newman alongside of him in that Coulter Motorsports Shitty Coolers ride. And folks, like we always say, by the grace of God and 600 horsepower, we are Smart Modified Tour racing at New River All-American Speedway. Danny Bone grabs that top spot. Here comes Ryan Newman pulling up to his back bumper. Jimmy Blewett in the 3rd spot in that Jamie Tomeno owned number 99. Joey Coulter in 4th. The battle is for 5th right now. John Michael Chanette on the inside of Jonathan Cash. Cash in one of those Pace-O-Matic rides for SNS Racing. Cash gives up the spot, knows he needs to get to the bottom right now early in the race and settle in. Behind that 16 car on the racetrack is his teammate at SNS Racing, the 7VA Pace-O-Matic machine for Luke Baldwin, 18 years old, a recent high school graduate, and the next, he and his brother, the next in the Baldwin family to continue that long-standing racing tradition. Carson Lofton in the 23. The point leader right behind them. That's 1st and 2nd in points in your shot right there. 2nd, the 7VA of Luke Baldwin, and the point leader, the 23 of the 16-year-old Carson Lofton. Up front, Danny Bone. You can see right there, good shot of this arced front stretch at New River All-American Speedway. We mentioned Ryan Newman said this track races like the old Rockingham in North Carolina. It's got that sweeping front stretch. You dive into turn number 1, run it hard. But man, as they go down the backstretch, they got to figure out how they're going to enter turn number 3. And it's difficult because you can overshoot that corner in a hurry. In fact, in the middle of practice, everybody trying to figure things out. They couldn't. They were going up to the wall in turns 3 and 4. We do have a change of position in the top 5. We see Bone and Newman 1 and 2, but John Michael Chanette has moved by Joey Coulter. John Michael Chanette now challenging Jimmy Blewett for 3rd. There they are, 3rd, 4th, and 5th as they run. Plenty of laps left in here. You don't want to charge hard. John Michael Chanette, not a ton of experience, especially with Southern Modified Racing. He goes to the inside, or tries to, of that Phoenix number 99 of Jimmy Blewett. Outside of the top 5 right now. Just as a reminder, it's Jonathan Cash, Luke Baldwin, Carson Lofton. 9th is Jake Crum, and 10th is Brian Lofton. We got some interesting kind of battles starting to brew, but everybody very cautious, very patient at this stage of the game. Not only because they're in tire conservation mode, because this place can eat up the tires in a hurry. We're going to try to get our cameras back just a little bit because we have the SNS racing cars. And there goes John Michael Chanette, but side by side they are right there. Luke Baldwin goes by Jonathan Cash. That is for 6. Here comes Carson Lofton as well. Lofton follows his buddy. These two guys, 1 and 2 in points, are good friends as well. So Baldwin and Lofton get by Cash, and there is another battle. Here comes John Michael Jeanette, has gotten by Jimmy Blewett, now getting by Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman says he pulls the old Mark Martin move. Let him go. He's burning up his stuff right now. Will he be burning up his stuff? Big question, but John Michael Jeanette very strong early in this race. And here comes the 8 car, pulling the heat on Danny Bone. If he gets a tire under him, you're going to see Danny Bone, the veteran out of New Jersey, probably just let him go. Almost contact. There might have been a little contact down in turn number 3. And just as we said, Bone says, go ahead, John Michael Jeanette. John Michael trying to figure out these modifieds, and there's a battle a little bit further back. Jonathan Cash kind of falling back a little bit. Jake Crum has gotten by him. And then there is Brian Lofton as well. So good starting spot today for Jonathan Cash, but he's lost several spots early in this race. John Michael Jeanette has opened up a big lead. There's Burt Myers. Burt Myers, not a good starting spot for him because it went off of practice speeds. He started 17th, trying to make his way through the field. Right behind him is Jack Baldwin. Jack Baldwin, 21 years old. Baldwin, his grandfather, the Tiger, Tom Baldwin, a legend in modified racing. And his dad, man, he's wrenched so many good modified drivers through the years. Also a former Daytona 500 winning crew chief for Ward Burton back in the day. But they are modified people. The Baldwins grew up with them on Long Island, New York, and they are hard-nosed, they're determined, and they love modified racing. Baldwin saying he was just going to ride and save his tires for a good portion of the race. John Michael Jeanette has set sail. He's got a huge lead right now by about, I'd say, it's about a half a straightaway, so about 20, 25 car lengths or so over Danny Bone. You got to wonder if that's a good thing for John Michael Jeanette. There is the 16 car that continues to have some trouble, but now the number 12 as well. Running for Jeremy Gersner here is Jake Crum. Crum, a 2-time late model stock car winner here at this racetrack, had charged and gained a bunch of spots, but now he's caught up on the outside and losing some spots. You can see a 4-wheel drift there for the 12 machine in the middle of 3 and 4. On the bottom is Jonathan Cash. Burt Myers is lined up. Jack Baldwin wants by him. Sometimes when you get up out of the groove, you're going to lose a bunch of spots here at New River All-American Speedway. There goes Burt Myers to the inside of Jake Crum as well. Crum sat out the first portion of practice. Jack Baldwin getting by. You'll watch Jake Crum try to slam the door if Tom Buzzy in the Mark III Financial 25 doesn't get there. Jason Myers back in the number 4 car. So we continue to watch this battle. Now, Burt Myers up to 10th. Jack Baldwin in 11th if he gets by Jake Crum, but Crum gets a good run down the straightaway there to try to fend him off. Crum starting to make it work on the outside. Andy Marquis, you mentioned this can be a 2-groove racetrack, and now Jake Crum trying to figure things out in that 12 car.
I don't know if I like the strategy of the 8 car here. He's kind of checked out, driving away. I don't know if I would do that in a race where there's competition. Cautions where tires matter.
John Michael Jeanette has been at our track at our races a couple times this year. Doesn't have a lot of laps with the series, so right now he's learning, and he might learn in a big way that maybe he charges too hard. Who knows? Remember, right now we're just a couple of laps shy, or 1 lap shy really, of the conclusion of Bell Helmet stage number 1. So at the same time, to your point, he's still punishing, especially those right side tires. Be interesting to see if he actually takes that right rear tire here during this stage number 1 caution period. And there it is. You see the orange and white checker. Thank you to Bell Helmets and all they do. Some new locations for them as well. We'll talk about that during the broadcast. But Bell Helmets, you want to stay safe inside a race car, on a motorcycle, whatever it may be, Bell Helmets and their headquarters can help you stay safe. And they are certainly the best helmet manufacturer in all of motorsports. So that's the conclusion of Bell Helmets stage number 1. John Michael Chenette wins that in the number 8 machine. Danny Bone in the second spot and Ryan Newman in third. Those drivers a little extra cash thanks to Bell Helmets, as well as some championship equation points in the mix as well for those 3 drivers at the end of this stage. We'll take a quick break here on Flow Racing and come back, let you know if anybody came down pit road.
Under caution here at New River All-American Speedway. We want to take a minute to thank all of our sponsors.
Welcome back to Flow Racing and the coverage of the Pace-O-Matic 99. There you see the point leader, Carson Lofton, on pit road. We are told by smart officials that he and the number 12 of Jake Crum on pit road to change their transponder. It is a transponder issue, a scoring issue, so they are allowed to come down pit road. They will change that transponder only, and they will be able to get their position back on the racetrack. So that coming from smart officials here at New River All-American Speedway for both Jake Crum in the 12 and the 23 of Carson Lofton. Coming down pit road, changing the transponder, and going back out on the track and being allowed to regain the position that they were at the time of this checkered flag for the conclusion of Bell Helmet stage number 1. So 30 into this one, plenty of racing to go. 99 laps the total distance here today for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. John Michael Chenette in that 8 car has been setting sail. Really charging hard. You got to wonder if he's been abusing those tires, especially on the right side of that machine. All teams have one tire at their disposal to use at any point in this race when they come down pit road. Second place, early race leader and Pace-O-Matic pole award winner in the AmeriFast number 24, Danny Bone. Danny, a 17-time winner in NASCAR modified competition at Bowman Gray Stadium, but has yet to win here on the Smart Modified Tour in only 17 starts. So still got a while. But at the same time, that driver, he is so talented behind the wheel of the 24. There you see Carson Lofton regaining his spot on the racetrack after making that transponder change by coming down pit road, he and Jake Crum. So Carson Lofton right behind the 02, the Gray Ghost, the SRI Performance Torch eyewear machine for Joey Coulter. Coulter tested here like a couple of the drivers did as well, and had some really cool onboard footage that New River All-American Speedway had posted earlier this week to show you what it's like to get around here. It was from Joey Coulter's YouTube page, so if you want to go check that out, you can find it on social media. You can find it on YouTube as well. So there is Lofton, but I want to get back to the number 24 car of Danny Bone. Danny, such a talented racer, big old guy. Looks like a running back, a fullback, in football. But his family has been so important to modified racing and racing in general for so many years. Parker Bone, his granddad, just such a successful racer for so many years. His dad, Eddie, a former Turkey Derby winner. I remember interviewing Eddie way back when at Wall Stadium in Belmar, New Jersey. And there is the CitraSafe Choose Comb. CitraSafe grill cleaner is the best grill cleaner on the market. Remember, it's Labor Day weekend. If you need to clean your grill, get ready for a cookout, go to Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, many other stores to get your CitraSafe products. I use it on my grill all the time. It's awesome. So after the CitraSafe Choose Cone, John Michael Chenette chooses the bottom, but it's interesting that Danny Bone chooses the outside. Because the bottom is certainly the preferred groove. You can run too wide, as Andy Marquis has mentioned, but at the same time, you got to wonder, one little slip up around this very slippery racetrack, and Ryan Newman can get the spot on Danny Bone. They're going to fire right here in the Pace-O-Matic restart zone. John Michael Chenette, a good restart for him. Danny Bone alongside. Bone might get the run off of turn number 2. Let's keep an eye on this. Danny Bone trying to charge back to the lead. Ryan Newman and Joey Coulter teammates side by side behind that. And how about this? Danny Bone giving it a go at the line. Oh, too close to call. They say it's Danny Bone by scoring right here at New River All-American Speedway. And Danny Bone back to the lead in the Pace-O-Matic 99. Side by side for second. Here comes Joey Coulter. Coulter having a good run on the outside. You can make that outside groove work here, but how much are you punishing those tires for later on in the race? When will he give up on that fight? Still side by side for second. John Michael Chenette, a little bit of a wiggle out of that 8, coming off of turn number 4. But now, single file for the first 4 spots. Behind that, though, we have some side-by-side racing battles. The 99 right now in a battle for 5th with the 15 of Brian Lofton. Lofton in that 15, a tumultuous season for him, plagued with bad luck and engine problems. Lofton very good here at this racetrack, and the only other appearance back in 2000 for the Smart Modified Tour. He finished in the runner-up spot. Tried to get on the outside of Newman, couldn't do it. Side by side with Jimmy Blewett still. In that 99 car is Brian Lofton. Lofton, the veteran, has been watching his son dominate this season. Brian Lofton says, I'm not done yet. I can still win races. Back to the lead we go. Side by side down the front stretch, and there is John Michael Chenette blowing back past the 24 of Danny Bone. Now let's see what he does. Is he going to go out and charge hard again like he did in the first portion of this race, the Bell Helmet stage number 1? We see several drivers trying to take the outside. There's Brian Lofton. You see the 25 of Tommy Buzzy Jr. as well. 2 drivers trying to do it. Lofton, though, with some experience here. Look at Lofton just blow by Ryan Newman, now trying to get alongside of Joey Coulter. Loses that momentum off the corner just a little bit because of how hard he charged in the center. But it's working for him. Brian Lofton now up to 4th, possibly up to 3rd here. We'll see if he keeps it at the line. This is like a dirt late model race, I feel like, how they're running this racetrack, and it's awfully exciting. Flying Brian Lofton, how about that? Up to 3rd here with 61 laps to go in the Pace-O-Matic 99. Impressive performance out of Brian Lofton. And these modifieds, you know, they run the racetrack a little bit different than the late model stock cars. We saw the car store and how they run here. It's like all over the racetrack.
I'm impressed by John Michael Chenette keeping the tires under him. I talked to Jake Crum before the other day. He did not expect the tires to last the entire race. Jake was saying he thinks they're going to be on cords. There's going to be drivers blowing tires.
And we talk about side-by-side racing action. Ryan Newman loses the spot to Joey Coulter. Now Newman saying, I'm going to go to the top side, try to keep it up there and see what I can do like Brian Lofton did. So he's on the outside of the 0-2 of Joey Coulter. Battle inside the top 5. This is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Newman, not afraid of anything inside a race car. I don't think he's afraid of anything, period. But Ryan Newman, the Rocket Man, is a guy that will always try something different, because that's what you got to do to try to pass people on a racetrack. It's as simple as that. And he's making it work. He's turning around the fortune of Brian Lofton, who passed him on the outside. Now Newman getting it done. Jimmy Blewett going to hop up there as well in the number 99. So Ryan Newman back to 3rd, Lofton in 4th. Battle is for 5th. Joey Coulter on the inside in the gray ghost, 0-2. Jimmy Blewett gets him. Jimmy Blewett sees a hole, but it closes fast with that 15 car. With Steve's Automotive and Tires on the side, RDL as well for Brian Lofton, 15 machine. Luke Baldwin is there. Carson Lofton. There is Burt Myers. 3 of the top 5 point men coming into this race after the big break. Last time we raced, remember, we're Labor Day weekend. Last time we raced was on July 4th weekend. A little bit of a break because of how the Bowman Gray Stadium season runs with the NASCAR Modifieds.
You're just mentioning Burt Myers. I've been keeping my eye on him. I know he's one of those drivers who's smart, doesn't abuse his equipment, finds his way to the front. Looks like he's methodically making his way up towards the front, but doing so in a Burt Myers way. Very smart, not being too aggressive and not abusing his tires.
Oh, a little bit before that, how about that little wiggle out of Jimmy Blewett? Blewett had been trying that outside groove, and that big wiggle by Jimmy Blewett. Coulter back by him, but it's craziness right back there. You see Jimmy Blewett, in the mix. You see the black and white machine of Burt Myers. Andy Marquis just talked about him. Now the 15, did he punish his tires, and is that why he's losing ground right now? Brian Lofton. But you mentioned Burt Myers. Burt Myers is built, that team is built for Labor Day. Think about it. Backyard leisure pool and spas. Okay, that's great. Everybody wants to go on the pool Labor Day weekend or in the ocean here in the coast of North Carolina. You got Peanut Patch, get yourself some boiled peanuts. And then, of course, you got Citrus Safe Grill Cleaner to get that grill clean before you start firing it up and cooking some other food. So, Burt Myers is built for holiday weekends, especially in the summer. So a little bit of shake-up now, some movers and shakers, comers and goers in this one. It's still John Michael Chenette up top of that 8 machine. 2nd, Danny Bone. 3rd, Ryan Newman. 4th, Joey Coulter. And 5th, right now on the racetrack, is Jimmy Blewett. Had to look to make sure that they didn't change positions as I look down at timing and scoring as well. Blewett trying to make a charge here. Right behind that, there is Blewett. Man, he just squeezed around Jason Tutterow. It was almost 3 wide for just a second behind that as Blewett picked up the 4th spot on Joey Coulter.
Jason Tutterow staying out of the way of these guys, are trying his hardest to, but it got a little hairy there for a moment as the leaders try to work by him, and they're 3 wide again, working their way. But so far, everybody's been able to keep it clean, as we have been lean, mean, and green the whole way through so far, with the exception of our stage break. Battle for the lead now. Here's the 24 to the inside of the 8. Danny Bone rockets back to the lead. And here's the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman, taking a look for 2nd.
Ryan Newman trying to go the inside of John Michael Chenette. Danny Bone back up front for the 3rd time here today. A lot of lead changes early in this race, a little bit more than we expected maybe. Now that tire wear comes into play, Andy, you mentioned it. John Michael Chenette charged hard. Now he's losing tons of spots. He's back to 4th right now and in jeopardy of losing the 5th place spot.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering when that car would start falling off, and it is. Jake Crum, what he said is these modified tires are a lot softer than the F45s that we normally race on out here. And he expected these tires not to last the entire race because of that and this surface.
Say bye-bye to John Michael Chenette for now here in the Pace-O-Matic 99. He is fading and fading in a hurry, trapped on the outside groove. Maybe abused those tires a little bit too much early in this race. There's Jack Baldwin. Burt Myers have gotten by the number 8, and he still can't get down. Daniel Yates in trouble in the middle of the backstretch a little bit. Almost got connected as he shoots up the racetrack to try to get out of the way. Almost got connected with Luke Baldwin. There's Blake Barney. Blake Barney, you know, here's the deal with Blake Barney. Was planning to run full-time, had that disqualification for an engine infraction. He's in the 27 car there, that black and white machine. Barney's a talented racer. Had that infraction by virtue of the rule book, won the race at Orange County. It was taken away from him, but he's battled back. The team winning, you know, the driver winning at Wall Stadium, New Jersey, just a few weeks back. Right now,
business is picking up here in this one. So, you know, quite a bit of bumper tag going on. A lot of side-by-side racing, of course, but there's been quite some paint trading going on here mid-pack. Business picking up. These guys mid-pack, no, they got to make their way to the front, and they got to do it soon.
Here comes Jack Baldwin on the inside of Joey Coulter. Jack Baldwin, first start in a Tour Type Modified. Well, I shouldn't say that. A series Tour Type Modified event, because he did run at Riverhead a few weeks back with his brother up there on Long Island. But Jack Baldwin doing a great job in the 7NY. Burt Myers goes by. Joey Coulter. Coulter may be fading. Maybe some ill-handling characteristics on that race car, because Jonathan Cash got by as well. Here we go. Battle for the lead now. And we got a caution on the racetrack. We hear the cars slow. Jeff Bunton, and it's because a couple of cars, Jason Myers and Cowboy Dwight Sauls, get together. I believe that is down in turn number 2, I think. Am I correct on that?
Yes,
Yes.
that is 2.
We can't see it from our vantage point in the tower, but at the same time, our cameras are just a little bit higher than us. So bad break for Jason Myers. Jason Myers connecting with Dwight Sauls here at this stage of the game, which still 37 laps to go. And Jason Myers battling here. He's a full-time competitor. Right now, 9th in points is Jason Myers, a 41-time winner at Bowman Gray Stadium. So, I think right now we're not going to go to break. Should we? Oh, hold on. I'm going to find out when we're going to open pit road. How about that?
And before the caution, Bob was talking about Jack Baldwin. He does not have a lot of experience in a Tour Type Modified, but Jack Baldwin has won here at New River All-American Speedway in a crate modified. When they ran last year with the Carolina Pro Late models, the crate modifieds will be coming up a little bit later here as well as we continue under the yellow flag. Got these two cars, they got to get them off of each other. So Jack Baldwin, I'm going to be keeping my eye on him when the experience that he's got here.
Yeah, and those 2 crate wins last year. And by the way, a little rivalry between Jack and Luke. And Jack, we were talking this week, and I said, did you win both last year here? And he goes, yeah. I said, did you beat your brother twice? Did he finish second twice? He goes, yeah. So nice friendly family rivalry for the Baldwin boys. We're going to stay here on Flow because we are told that they are going to open up pit road here in a second. And I just want to remind everybody, this is not a live pit stop scenario. You come down pit road, you get to go out in the same position as long as you do so in a certain amount of laps that the Smart Modified Tour officials actually has. Right now they're stopping the cars on the front stretch. We're actually going to go under red here. So tell you what, the change of plans for Smart officials, we'll take a quick break on Flow Racing and come back and look at what we're seeing on pit road here at New River All-American Speedway.
Under the red flag for an incident in turn 2 here at New River All-American Speedway. They're continuing to
finally been able to get Jason Myers and Dwight Sauls' cars off of each other as they continue in this cleanup over in turn 2. We'll get these cars off the track and then we will get back to racing.
Back live here at New River All-American Speedway with the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. Under red flag conditions with 29 laps to go. There you see one of the victims, and he's got a tough job ahead of him, he and that team. Jason Myers in the number 4 car. It's not what he wanted to see happen with 2 races in one day at 2 tracks. Yes, that's what the Smart Modified Tour is doing today because Mother Nature washed out the race last night. We are running early this morning, and then all of these teams, including Jason Myers, will have to go 34 miles down the road to Carteret County Speedway and compete tonight in the Carteret Clash. So if you're here today, yeah, we got some drag racing right across or right behind the facility here later on tonight. You could see that, or just march on over to Carteret County Speedway and see these mighty modifieds and some other divisions as well battle on that racetrack. It's going to be a lot of fun over there. Can't wait to see the entire staff, Bobby and the staff at Carteret County Speedway. But right now, under red flag racing conditions, Danny Bone is your leader in the number 24 car. Buddy Ellis prepared machine, the number 2 of Ryan Newman with shitty coolers along for him on that ride today. Ryan Newman, 2nd spot. Jimmy Blewett in the 99 is in 3rd right now. Blewett having a good run, looking for his first win with the Smart Modified Tour. There you see the car, the 79 of Anthony Bello. He is on pit road. That Hillbilly Motorsports team had trouble right from the get-go. I believe he was the first car out of the race here today. Going back to the rest of the field, the number 7NY. 7VA. I'm so used to saying 7NY. 7VA is having a great run. Luke Baldwin, the 18-year-old, in 4th. So Luke Baldwin, 2nd in points, hoping for a good score here today, maybe a shot at another victory. Behind him, though, is the 7NY, his brother Jack. A good run for him as well. Jack Baldwin coming up from the 13th starting spot and is now in the top 5. So Jack Baldwin having a good run as well. The number 1 car of Burt Myers solidly inside the top 10, but knocking on the door for a top 5 spot. Burt Myers, the defending series champion. Jason Myers, that car on the hook right now, going back to his rig. They're going to start preparing that car, making those repairs so it can be ready for Carteret County Speedway later on tonight. The 16 of Jonathan Cash, that Pace-O-Matic ride. Joey Coulter inside the top 10 as well in that Bill Stein machine in the Gray Ghost 02. Call it the Gray Ghost 02 because Joey Coulter came up with this scheme. He likes good-looking race cars, and he came up with this flat gray look for this year, and it's a wild-looking ride. And it reminds me of when Richie Evans back in the day built a brand-new race car, and he wound up not being able to paint it prior to coming to the racetrack. And it started doing well. So he said, you know what, I'm going to keep the gray primer look for a long time. That car for Richie Evans, known as the Gray Ghost back in the day. And now decals have been made for this car for Joey Coulter as well. We're going to try to take a look at that car here in just a second as we march a little bit further through the field. There is the Gray Ghost, the 02 of Joey Coulter. So the running order at this stage of the game: Danny Bone, Ryan Newman, Jimmy Blewett, Luke Baldwin. And right now, it still says Joey Coulter is 5th, Jack Baldwin actually in 6th, Burt Myers 7th, Jonathan Cash in 8th, Blake Barney in the 9th spot, and Tommy Buzzy Jr. in 10th. John Michael Chenette, who led a bunch of laps earlier in this race, just outside the top 10 right now in the 11th spot. Jason Myers was 12th prior to that incident with the Cowboy Dwight Sauls. Brian Lofton was back in 13th. He'll now be 12th. Then it was Josh Lauder, Gary Young Jr., Jimmy Wallace, Daniel Yates, Dwight Sauls, Jason Tutterow. Carson Lofton was being scored back there, but I believe that is wrong. I believe things are mixed up a little bit on the scoring at this juncture, and he was having transponder issues earlier. We're going to check on that to see if the transponder issue has been fixed for Carson Lofton. We'll take a quick break here on Flow Racing and come back with that knowledge.
Ain't that the reason you're at this club? Oh, you ain't gon' find a dance with him. No, I got a better solution for you, girl. Oh, just leave with me now. Say the word and we'll go. I'll be your teacher. I'll show you the ropes. You'll see a side of love you never known. I can see it going down.
It's certainly going to be going down today here in the Pace-O-Matic 99 at New River All-American Speedway for the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. Got to say thank you to so many of the great sponsors for the Smart Modified Tour, including Bankers Life, your halfway leader, presenting sponsor of the Smarty Trophy. And remember, folks, it's never too early to start planning for your future. Never too late as well to assure yourself and your family are prepared for what life may bring. Thankfully, Bankers Life has agents who are eager to get to know you personally, listen to your concerns and priorities, and fully understand what you and your family need. To find an agent that is best suited for your needs, visit their website at bankerslife.com. Insurance solutions, retirement planning, financial management, and everything in between. That's Bankers Life, bankerslife.com. There's Dwight Sauls, one of the two cars that were involved in an incident down in turns 1 and 2 that brought out first the caution and now the red flag. Jason Myers, number 4 machine, already in the infield. His crew addressing that car to try to get it repaired for today's Carteret Clash, just 34 miles away. That will race tonight with the Smart Modified Tour at Carteret County Speedway.
Dwight Soul's one of those guys who's got experience here. He's raced in the Southern Ground Pounders for a long time, vintage racing club that runs in the Carolinas and Virginia. He's got, along with that, he's got one of the more experienced at this track spotters on his roof for him and Wayne Phillips, who was spotting for him. Tough break for those guys. But they're back on pit road, and these engines sound like they're getting ready to be fired back up.
The engines are refiring. Still the crate modifieds to come today here at New River All-American Speedway. And folks, since 2000, Pace-O-Matic has assembled an incredibly talented team from top to bottom, built on the grounds of integrity, innovation, and compliance, all of which aligns perfectly with the world of motorsports. As an entertainment company that develops gaming software that players love to play, Pace-O-Matic is all about giving back to local communities, small businesses, and now, most importantly, motorsports. To learn more about their history, business, charitable works, and products, check out their social media outlets or visit their website at paceomatic.com. That's Pace-O-Matic, proud supporter of grassroots initiatives and proud presenting sponsor of the Smart Modified Tour. So all the cars off the racetrack right now, some of the engines have refired. I expect to see these cars start circling this racetrack again. Still can't believe we're doing 2 races at 2 tracks in one day with the series. Just an incredible feat. We mentioned, as our research showed, of course we found it on dirt, that has happened before. And by our research, and Elgin Trailer and Tim Quiverin were doing this for us last night. Thank you to both of them. It looks like 1993, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, both in the state of New York, the Empire State. One at the Moody Mile at Syracuse, and then the next race a little bit later on that evening at Weedsport, just nearby racetrack in New York.
This has happened with the Bombers quite a bit here, where both tracks are racing at the same time, and you get a bunch of Bombers leave Carteret to come here. Steven Sanders used to make a habit of that when East Carolina was open. He'd go from East Carolina, race there, and go race at Carteret. He drove his car in right off the highway one time to do that. So a lot of the local guys are used to that, but certainly not these Smart Tour guys. But the track's very close in proximity, making this possible.
Both beautiful facilities as well. Thank you for all you do, and the Goodyear family for what they do for racing, especially in this portion of the country. This track had opened back in 1999 and has really developed, especially over the past couple of years with the Goodyears in control. I want to say a big thank you as well to Carolina Drilling. They're a well drilling contractor located in Mocksville, North Carolina, a leader in both drilling and blasting in the region. They're also proud to return as the Carolina Drilling Blast to the Front Award. This award is pretty cool. It's given to the highest finishing non-tour type modified series winner in each race for the Smart Modified Tour. A special thanks goes out to Jason Tutterow and all the fine employees at Carolina Drilling for their continued support of modified racing. And how about that Smarty Trophy? Pretty incredible. You'll see it in Victory Lane a little bit later on. It's actually manufactured by Jostens, who is the most trusted partner in celebrating moments that matter, with their mission resting on 3 simple words: capture, celebrate, inspire. This thought process has led the Smart Modified Tour to develop one of the most unique works of art in all the motorsports, that Smarty Trophy that I talk about. From the same company that develops championship rings and trophies for NASCAR, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and more, maybe even those high school rings, Jostens helps the Smart Modified Tour develop this championship and race-winning hardware that truly embodies the characteristics of all modified legends, both north and south. To learn more, visit Jostens.com. That's Jostens, provider of the Smart Modified Smarty Trophy, and you'll see it in Victory Lane in just a little while here at New River All-American Speedway. Here come the cars on pit road. All the drivers are saying, I need that right rear tire on here. You can put it on any corner, that fresh rubber that you have down there. And sometimes these teams, depending on what they need out of the handling of the cars, will swap the tires at other points in the car. But usually that fresh tire will go on the right rear, and you see a lot of people tackling that right now. That's the 24 Amerifast race car for Danny Bone. There is Brian Lofton in the number 15. Danny Bone leading the race. Ryan Newman in the Shitty Coolers number 2, second. Burt Myers, after starting way back in this field here today, 17th, has worked his way up through the field, knocking on the door to a top 5 position here, just outside the top 5 in 7th. Joey Coulter, another driver having a good run here today. Coulter being scored in 5th in that 0-2. There is Jack Baldwin in the 7 NY. Baldwin in 6th at this caution. And Jimmy Blewett, he's come close on a couple of different occasions this year on the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. But right now, that 99 running in the 3rd spot. Interesting, we always note, this is a Tomeno-owned machine. Jamie Tomeno, one of the best ever. In modified racing, a former NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion. He owns this race car. His wife Cheryl, his sons are also involved. The Blewetts and the Tomenos, they grew up in the same town in New Jersey, and they were rivals for so many years. Not just Jimmy, but John III, John Blewett Jr. They were all rivals with the Tomenos back in the day, so it's interesting as a fan of modified racing for such a long time to see those two groups running together. They're having a great time, and we love the fact that those two once rivals are celebrating, the history of modified racing and continuing its tradition now here with this 99 ride in the South. Tommy Buzzy Jr. in that blue and white units moving in storage car. See Jimmy Wallace in the 21, a former top 10 finisher here in Tour Type Modified competition back in 2014. There's Daniel Yates in the number 18 with the Yates Grading and Paving car. John Michael Chenette, the 8 car, the early race leader here, but he certainly needed some adjustments to that car because he faded in a hurry, probably after abusing those tires. The A-Best forklift yellow machine, that is Johnny Kievman. He was a stout competitor in the late model ranks in the Florida area for so many years. One of the racetrack that I wish I actually went to, Hialeah Speedway. I was told very fast, high-banked racetrack back in the day when Homestead Speedway opened back in, 80, what was that? Oh, actually, no, it was 97, I believe. Went down there with a team from Long Island, Ron Thiel and the Levitt's Furniture Machine, and I had a chance on Saturday night to go to Hialeah. Didn't go. It's one of my biggest regrets of missing tracks in the state of Florida. See the cars now going back on the racetrack. Nobody, I believe. We are told now that the 8 was in the wreck or maybe had damage that was caused by something with that wreck, and that's why that 8 car of John Michael Chenette, we didn't see him down there, but maybe during the incident itself, a little bit of contact, and you can see, yes, they are actually making repairs on the front end of that machine. Will it be repairs just to get them to Carteret, or are they trying to get back out there? We'll find out here to see, but definitely a lot of work as we look at the Flow Racing cameras right there on the front suspension on that 82 Services number 8 machine. 35 to go. I grew up with 35 lappers at Riverhead Raceway on Long Island for the Modifieds and Islip Speedway. So this is like a normal Saturday night feature at many local tracks around America. Danny Bone trying to win his first of the year. Ryan Newman trying to win his second. They are 1 and 2 when we restart this race with the Pace-O-Matic 99.
I think as we get down to this point, we've already seen the intensity pick up, but now I think we're really about to see a lot more action through the field. It is, as you mentioned, this is a feature race at this point. Saving tires, they're still going to have to save, but for the most part, that's out the window. Now we're getting down to crunch time.
And here's the equation that you got to think about now. Everybody has that fresh right rear tire. So do you push it right from the green? Do you wait for the end? I am told that these tires still have a little bit for about 25 laps. We have 35 laps to go. So if you push hard right now from the get-go, when they drop the green again, you got 25 laps of good, supposedly, of these tires, maybe, and then 10 laps of holding on. Or you try to reverse it, and track position can certainly come into play where you are in the field right now with, the opposite strategy. So it should be interesting. I personally think, especially in a double file restart, it's go time for this restart.
I want to be out front. Yeah, I think what we see with a lot of these races, we do see a lot of, you get inside 10 to go, you do get a lot of the action that keeps restacking the field. But me personally, I'd say I would go and I would drive as big a lead as I can and hope the caution doesn't come out.
One more word from some of our sponsors. Since 1983, MJ Printing and Graphics has provided affordable custom options for all your printing and graphic design needs, whether it be screen printing for clothing or apparel, decals, banners, vehicle wraps, you name it, for your car, truck, or motorcycle. MJ Printing and Graphics promises to deliver on what you want, because that's where it all starts. Let MJ Printing and Graphics bring your idea and design to life. Visit them online at mjcustomprinting.com. That's mjcustomprinting.com. Next time by, we will go back to green flag racing action here at New River All-American Speedway. It's the Pace-O-Matic 99 for the Smart Modified Tour. Early morning start because last night was washed away. Some heavy rains, Andy, at this racetrack last night after all that lightning.
What was amazing, though, is how much of the rubber was not washed away.
Yeah, and that's a good thing for these drivers, especially after they dialed in their cars with some rubber on the racetrack yesterday. All right, here we go. Danny Bone, Ryan Newman, front row. Jimmy Blewett and Luke Baldwin, that second row. Joey Coulter and Jack Baldwin in the third row. We are coming back to green in the Pace-O-Matic 99 at New River All-American Speedway. Newman slips up a little bit in turns 1 and 2, still tries to get alongside of Danny Bone. He says, this might be my shot. Ryan Newman, tough as nails, trying to go to the outside of Danny Bone, but Bone leads that circuit here at New River All-American Speedway. Jack Baldwin trying to move up another spot. Jimmy Blewett, trouble. The 99 slowing on the backstretch. Blewett, trouble for him. Disastrous for this Tomeno team. Jimmy Blewett coming into this one 7th in the point standings. Danny Bone, Ryan Newman, 1-2. And then it's the Baldwin boys, 3 and 4. Luke and Jack. Jack having an outstanding run in his first Smart Modified Tour start. So, interesting, side by side, further back in the field right now as the top 4 are single file. There it is. Burt Myers in the number 1, Jonathan Cash, and the point leader, the kid, Carson Lofton in the 23, trying to charge hard here in the late going of this race. Carson Lofton, so mature, beyond his years, and pushing the number 1 car, Burt Myers, down the front stretch. And I know several of you might be looking at race monitors saying, Carson Lofton doesn't look like he scored in the mix. Trust me, by scoring, he's on the lead lap and in the mix right now, running in that 7th spot. No contact behind that. Jonathan Cash gets hit from behind, does a little wiggle, and before that, Burt Myers way up the racetrack. He and Carson Lofton made contact in that 23. Saw that from the corner of our eye here in turns 3 and 4. So a little bit of contact, I believe, between Carson Lofton and Burt Myers. Myers shot up the racetrack and has lost about 4 positions. Craziness going on in the final 30 laps of this one. Ryan Newman still stalking the 24. Trying to go to the outside is Ryan Newman in that number 2 machine. He wasn't able to do it down in 1 and 2. Made a valiant effort. Starts to make that effort again in 3 and 4. Trying to figure out where to keep that momentum to get alongside of Danny Bone. If he's able to get alongside, he might be able to squeeze Danny down the racetrack and prevent his momentum coming off the corner.
And there's the Baldwin brothers right there, the 2 drivers who have quite a bit of modified experience in this track.
Andy had to go take care of something here at New River All-American Speedway for some computer work here in the tower. That's why he sped off. But there is Danny Bone, the leader of this race. The 2 of Ryan Newman. And now Luke Baldwin starting to close in ever so slightly. And that Sadler Stanley Racing Pace-O-Matic number 7 VA. So a little bit of charging hard after that restart, but it looks like several drivers still trying to chill out a little bit, save their stuff. A little bit further back, we have a battle for fifth now brewing. Coming off the corner there is Carson Lofton and Joey Coulter going at it. I don't think that battle's going to last for long unless Coulter can keep the momentum off the corner. No, Carson Lofton now into the top 5 here in the Pace-O-Matic 99. His dad, Brian Lofton, 2 spots behind him. Jake Crum in the top 10 as well. Brian Lofton, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Looking for another victory. He's had a storied career here in the South in Southern Modified Racing. 9 total wins on the Smart Modified Tour, but if you count what he's done in other series as well, it's incredible. 12 wins on the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour back in the day. There's Jake Crum in the 12 machine. We go to the double box. Leaders on the right side of your screen, the 24 and the 2. We keep our eyes peeled on Joey Coulter, Josh Lauder there. The crate modified star having a good run in the top 10 here today for the 63. Good to see him turning his attention to his Tort Type modified. Josh Lauder has got a lot of talent behind the wheel. And right now, really pushing the envelope for a possible top 5 run here. We don't know if we're going to have another caution that would close the field up here at the end of the race. Ryan Newman really starting to try to figure out, maybe even trick Danny Bone. I'm going top. He's looked bottom a little bit. Lauder looking to the top of Joey Coulter. We go back to the lead. That's the major focus now with under 15 laps to go. Baldwin can't close in. Neither one, Luke or Jack. Luke Baldwin running in third. These teams know, though, hey, you don't want to get rough and tumble here at the end of this one because you still got another race later tonight. But Ryan Newman at the same time says, hey, at this stage of my career, it's all about trophies, baby. He won one at Tri-County in Granite Falls, North Carolina in this spring. He wants another here today.
Ryan Newman was one of those guys when he was in the NASCAR Cup Series that was known for he was going to fight every single position, every single lap. Didn't matter if it was 200 to go or 20 to go.
Here he comes on the inside. Ryan Newman trying to get on the inside of Danny Bone. And he's going to be able to do it coming down the arc front stretch here at New River All-American Speedway. Newman is there. Can Bone keep the momentum up on the outside? Side by side into 3 and 4, the battle for the lead with 11 laps to go. Newman, the Rocket Man, goes to the lead here at the Pace-O-Matic 99. Bone tries to fight back. Danny Bone, third and second in the most recent races on the Smart Modified Tour, wants that victory. What will he be able to do in the closing laps of this race? We are under 10 to go. And that's what we were talking about, that aggressive driving style by Ryan Newman. He looked outside in, trying to trick Danny Bone. Kind of did that outside to in maneuver to get underneath Bone and then eventually get that lead. And now he's got a pretty significant lead over the 24 by about 5 car lengths.
Barring a caution, Newman looks like he should be in good condition here as he continues to drive away from the 24 car of Danny Bone. And then there's Jack Baldwin right there. Luke Baldwin as well. Those two drivers in the top 5 as expected.
5th place on the racetrack is Carson Lofton. Carson Lofton in the number 23. And if you're paying attention to Race Monitor, it's not going to be scored that way, at least according to what I see on Race Monitor. But with 5 to go, Carson Lofton is indeed the 5th place driver in the 23. We can still get a caution here. Ryan Newman doesn't want to see it. He's got about a 10 car length lead right now over Danny Bone with just 5 to go.
And I don't think anybody wants to see that caution because you just said they got to go to Carter. They got to load right up and go to Carteret County, and they don't want to have to do that when they're putting the car in a box.
At the same time, Carson Lofton is flying. I would almost think if any driver wanted it, that 23 car has been on a rail in the 5th spot. In fact, He's closing in right now. Fourth place running Jack Baldwin might have a challenge for position here in the final 3 laps of this race.
Unfortunately, not going to have the time to get up to the lead. Ryan Newman coming to 2 laps to go for car number 2.
It's all Ryan Newman at the top of the heap here. Danny Bone in second, Luke Baldwin in third. But those cars separated by about equal distances, about 12 car lengths back to Bone, maybe about 10 car lengths behind Bone to Luke Baldwin. 1 to go here at New River All-American Speedway. Down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. The Rocket Man will do it again here in the Smart Modified Tour. Ryan Newman wins at New River All-American Speedway in the Pace-O-Matic 99. Second place, Danny Bone. Jack Baldwin having a good run as well. He winds up in 4th. Third place was Luke Baldwin, and 5th, Carson Lofton. We'll head trackside, allow you to take things over, and I'll go talk to the winner here in just a second.
So the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman, getting ready to pull into victory lane. Victorious in the Smart Modified Tour. His first start here. Now, a little bit of history. Back in 2013, Ryan Newman had intended to host a race out here benefiting the military community, which of course those in attendance know, very important, just a few miles this track from Camp Lejeune, one of the largest Marine bases in the country. Unfortunately, that race that Newman had organized got rained out, so he was able to make his first laps a couple of weeks ago, and in his first start, he is going to add his name to the winners list here at New River All-American Speedway. Danny Bone coming away with that second spot as Bob Dillner is heading down to speak with those guys now. Army of photographers waiting for Newman to get out as well. Tony Jolly, our track photographer. I see the Smart Tour Series photographer, and there's Corey Latham down there as well. We're going to throw it down to Bob Dillner.
Down in victory lane at New River All-American Speedway, Ryan Newman, the winner of the Pace-O-Matic 99 today for the Smart Modified Tour. It's his second victory on the season. He won his first race at Tri-County Speedway in Granite Falls, North Carolina in the springtime. Shade coolers on the side of this race car, aggressive hydraulics, Triangle CC for the Coulter Motorsports ride. Montrose Molders as well, part of this group with Capital Automotive. The former Daytona 500 winner will get that Bankers Life Smarty Trophy. The Rocket Man, Ryan Newman, back in victory lane with the Smart Modified Tour. A smart strategy here today. Ryan will get you to come to the front of the car. Congratulations all around from this Coulter Motorsports team. Ryan Newman, a lot of patience, I'm sure, you had to show here today. Let's chat about, congratulations from Danny Bone. Let's chat about that battle with Danny Bone. It looked like you were trying to measure him up for a long time.
I gotta get this choker down a little bit here. I was, and I really thought that, honestly, I thought he was gonna put up more of a fight because I was using 98% of what I had, and 2 on the bottom, and that got him off his line that he'd been running for what it was. So just got to thank everybody, this team, Randy Renfro and Coulter Motorsports and Shitty Coolers, Aggressive Hydraulics, Montrose Molders, and Capital Auto Group. Triangle Chemical Company come on and supported us for this little swing here on the coast, and just a lot of fun. Got to thank everybody here at New River All-American Speedway because of what we went through last night. To come back here this morning, forced every race car driver in the garage to get up early to come out here. Obviously, I'm enjoying it the most, but thank everybody for putting the hard work in.
Hey, we talked about this racetrack yesterday. After now competing in your first race here, what do you think about this place?
I liked it when we came and tested for, a few, I don't know, we probably put 30 or 40 laps in when we tested. Everything felt good, and obviously it proved today. So, just look forward to tonight.
Are you ready to do 2 races? For you USAC competitors, you're kind of used to that back in the day.
I mean, I'm more used to 500 miles, 5 laps, so I think 99 and then another 99 won't be too terrible for me.
Ryan Newman, congratulations to the entire Coulter Motorsports team. He will now get the Bankers Life Smarty Trophy. Haley is there in victory lane, manufactured by Jostens. Going to try to get everybody out of here and up the road to Carteret County Speedway for race number 2 of today's racing action for the Smart Modified Tour. Danny Bone, he's fast, he's good. But Danny, you wind up second here today. He was measuring you up for a while. What do you think? I see you looking at the car and just thinking things over.
Yeah, I mean, obviously to have a car like that and finish second, it's not too happy about it. But, obviously Ryan's a hell of a race car driver. We had a good run. Man, I want to get one of these Smarties. I thought we had one. He got that run on the inside there, and then he kind of pulled away. But got to thank my AmeriFast crew, my dad, everybody that helps me out on this thing. EM Roofing, obviously AmeriFast Supply, North Carolina, Bilstein, Pro System Brakes, North American Construction. We've been knocking on the door, man. We've led a lot of laps, and this is my second in a row. So hopefully tonight we get the victory lane.
I was going to say, Carteret County, give us a promotion because awfully good there last year.
Yeah, if we could, we could put a tire on. Last year we didn't put a tire on, but yeah, hopefully we unload this thing. We're just as good tonight.
All right, Danny Bone, second for the second straight race in the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. We'll head over here to the third place finisher, Luke Baldwin. Good run for him here today. Gained some points in that championship equation as well. Where were you just a little bit off from the top 2 guys out here today?
Yeah, after the stop, we were just way too tight. May not have looked like it, but, I just had to hustle it too hard from the start, and the right front never came to me. But, yeah, I felt like if that race went green, we were pretty stout. I felt like, the 2 and the 24 were really good, but I figured at least the top 3 car green flag run. I thought we had a chance to get up there and get them, but, caution came out. Just too tight, didn't have enough.
So 2 races, 1 day, lots of laps. It's hot here. You ready for it?
Oh yeah, no. When they said they were doing this in the meeting last night when it was raining, I got pretty excited. It was the idea of it's really cool coming to one track racing at 9 a.m. then going to the next one and doing a full race day. Yeah, no, I thought the idea was really good. I thought they made the right choice. Obviously, unless we got tore up, but lucky enough that didn't happen. And yeah, I just can't thank everybody enough. Pace-O-Matic, Sadler Stanley Racing, all group, Bell Helmets, Mohawk Northeast, Sublimited Suits, and everything out here. I think we had a really good car. Just the 2 and the 24 were really good, and couldn't keep up with them.
You're right. The Sublimited Suits look awfully good. You got to check them out online and social media as well. Sublimited Suits making some of the finest suits in America right now. But it's Ryan Newman celebrating in victory lane here, the Coulter Motorsports team. Thank you so much to everybody for coming out. I know it was early. We got a lot of work to do with the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. All these teams now packing up. They'll head 34 miles closer to the coast to go to Carteret County Speedway tonight for the Carteret Clash. We hope to see you there tonight because we're going to have another great race as we saw last year. But we love being here at New River All-American Speedway as well. Thank you to the Goodyear family. Thank you to everybody in the staff. We hope to be back next year because this place is a simply awesome racetrack. Thanks so much. I'm Bob Dillner. Hopefully we'll see you next year here with a Smart Modified Tour.
Getting ready to continue our racing program here for Milam Equipment Rentals. Open Wheel Mayhem coming up next. We do have the Champ Carts in action. We'll get a lineup for that shortly. Ryan Newman coming away with the victory in the Smart Modified Tour. And we also have the Carolina Crate Modified still to come. All these guys set their lineups are determined by random draw for both the Champ Carts and Carolina Crate Modifieds. That was done last night. There are a few of the Champ Carts that were not able to make it back today because they're heading to Kenly, North Carolina for a big race up there at the dirt track in Kenly. And then there were some guys that decided last night to come and make the trip to race today. So we'll have that lineup shortly, and then the Carolina Crate Modified Series will also be in action as they continue the victory lane. Ryan Newman talking to Matthew Dillner of Flow Sports down there. A unique and historic day of racing here at the Crystal Coast, or as I like to call it, the Speed Coast, with so many racetracks here, Carteret County, the Coastal Plains Dragway adjacent to this track. They're going to be in action this evening as well. So much racing. Just about every week there's a race going on out here in the Crystal Coast.
like you. I don't like your perfect crime. How you laugh when you lie. You said the gun was mine. Isn't cool. No, I don't like you. But I got smarter, I got harder in the nick of time. Honey, I rose up from the dead, I do it all the time. I got a list of names and yours is in red underlined. I check it once, then I check it twice. Oh, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you just made me do. I don't like your kingdom keys. They once belonged to me. You asked me for a place to sleep, locked me out, and threw a feast. The world moves on, another day, another drama. But not for me, not for me. All I think about is karma. And then the world moves on, but one thing's for sure. Maybe I got mine, but you'll all get yours. But I got smarter, I got harder in the nick of time. Honey, I rose up from the dead, I do it all the time. I got a list of names and yours is in red underlined. I check it once, then I check it twice. Oh, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you just made me do.
Continuing to set the stage as we're getting ready for Champ Kart racing action here on a Saturday morning at New River All-American Speedway. I never thought I would say those words. While we continue to get things set, we want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors. Milam Equipment Rentals, the title sponsor of this race here today. They came on board. They got a location in Jacksonville, North Carolina. In the pits, a reminder to all drivers to turn in your transponders before you leave here tonight, or this morning. Again, remember to turn in your transponders before you leave here. So once again, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Milam Equipment Rentals is a family-owned and operated business with over 40 years of experience with construction equipment. In 1999, Eddie Milam began selling used equipment out of a small office in South Boston, Virginia. Great racetrack up there, too. His experience with construction and buying and selling equipment allowed for the business to grow with the space needed for growing equipment with it. Eddie is now the vice president of Milam Equipment Sales Incorporated. He believes in a hands-on approach and runs the daily operations. Milam has over 50 personnel who are trained and qualified to inspect, service, and repair all machines that they rent and sell, hold themselves to a top-tier standard to meet and surpass the expectations of customers worldwide. Atlantic Turfscapes is a family-owned and operated premier synthetic turf company located on the Crystal Coast of North Carolina. They got their start with artificial grass in 2010, installing turf for Medallion Athletics, one of the top installers of athletic fields in North Carolina. They branched out to open doors to other turf installations as well as installing playgrounds. They are proud installers of 100% American-made Shaw grass. You can check them out at AtlanticTurfscapes.com. National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Jacksonville's Car Finance Center has offered expert advice for those seeking affordable car loans or car lease options. The local military community is very important, not only to their business, but to the businesses and economy of all of Onslow County. They are always looking for ways to give back to those who served in the armed forces. Chrysler has a corporate program designed to do just that. At National Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram of Jacksonville, they offer military discounts to personnel. Moore's Old Time Barbecue, Chicken and Seafood. They've got a location off of Gum Branch Road in Jacksonville, just by Gum Branch and Western. David Moore and his wife, Michelle, along with Tommy Moore and his wife, Barbara, have continued the tradition their parents started by combining over 100 years of experience to create the new Moore's Barbecue. At Moore's, their barbecue is slow-cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. They also have fried chicken, cooked to order seafood, and much more. It's Moore's or less. At United Rentals of Jacksonville, they work with their customers, communities, employees to find solutions with a shared commitment to service and safety. This is a simple but powerful notion called Work United. It's a shared mindset at United Rentals. Racing Electronics is the official communications provider of NASCAR and New River All-American Speedway. Racing Electronics is a fixture at major motorsports events across the country, from the RE Red headsets worn by thousands of race fans to the racing electronics equipment used on pit road, in the car, and on the spotter stand. Racing Electronics produces and sells the most popular motorsports communication equipment available today. Spears Manufacturing, since 1969, has been an industry leader in the highest quality plastic fittings, valve, pipe, and cement products, with 17 distribution centers strategically located throughout the United States. Spears has a vast offering of products to meet the demands of the industries they serve. We also want to thank the Trophy Case and Smith's Towing and Recovery, the National Dodge Pace Car on track, pacing the Champ Carts who are getting ready to go racing. Yes.